Welcome to Quilttube number 14. I'm Monique Stevens of Moneik Quilts, and I just wanted to share with you today a few of the projects that I'm currently working on and give you some of the highlights of what's been happening the first couple months of this year. As many of you have been watching for the last year or so know that I'm usually very, very productive, and it really helps me to be creative. It helps me to keep motivated in other parts of my life, and I love to share with you what I'm doing. You'll see that today I posted a video that I took at the sewing center, and it was some of the by Annie bags that I made over the past several years. But we had a trunk show at the sewing center, and I taught the ultimate travel bag pattern at the sewing center as a class, and I wanted to share with you some of the quilts that I've been making in that by Annie pattern. So I did take just a short video. The store was busy. There were a lot of people around, so it is kind of quiet. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. But I did show some of the by Annie patterns that I've been making, and gives you kind of an idea of how many, which is probably 30 plus by Annie patterns that I have made, because I do love her bag making style. And that's kind of where I'm at currently. I have been doing some other small projects, and I'll show you those today as well. One that I'm calling my stretch project for the year. It really stretched my abilities, and I'm proud of how it turned out. I obviously would make changes as I do other patterns and create new pieces, but I'll show you that as well. So kind of a little bit of everything today. So I'm going to start with a couple of finishes, and I have been really on a journal kick. So I think maybe in the past I've showed you some of the journals that I made, but I wanted a work journal. And so when I was at a work conference a couple months ago, I received a lot of the A5 journal size. And so I went online, I found an A5 journal pattern, and then I used, I don't know if you can even see it, yellow for the lining, and then blue pockets, and kind of this really pretty navy batik that has kind of a swirl pattern to it. And so because I didn't find yellow or navy, I used kind of a glitter, gold glitter elastic that holds it together. So this is one of my work journals, and I take notes in it, and it helps me to have everything organized. I also have a calendar for my sewing that is in a similar pouch, similar to that A5 journal cover. Recently I was in a pillow swap, and so if you'll check out Instagram, you'll see the pillow swap that I finished. It turned out super cute using the Jaybird quilts patterns. And as I was searching for other pillowcases that were made from that, I noticed that there was a triple zip pouch swap. And so this is the triple zip pouch that I recently made. Again, it's in yellow and blue. Our Lady Jackrabbits are playing in the NCAA double A women's basketball tournament tonight. So they are seeded 9th against the 8th round USC. So it'll be exciting to watch our Lady Jackrabbits perform tonight. But this triple zip pouch has been just a fun little make for me. I used a yellow lining, and so there's 1, 2, and then 3 pouches. This is, ends up about probably 6 by 7, so real small, but it's just a quick, fun sew. It's a free pattern. You just do quick triple zip pouch pattern. It's a tutorial, but it's very easy to make. And so this summer, I intend to have a triple zip pouch swap. So if you're interested, kind of watch my Instagram, watch Facebook, and I'll share that I'm going to be doing a triple zip pouch swap this summer. So that's been one. I've made 3 of those recently. And then for Valentine's Day, I made the mini heart pattern. This again is a free tutorial, free pattern. It's just mini hearts, It doesn't show up real well here as I'm looking at it, but it's 4 hearts, and I quilted it with glide thread, and then I put the kind of brighter coral color around it. So I made 2 of these as well. This one's for me to keep with my projects. And then I also made one for my friend Pat. And I have made her probably 6 pieces with the Sakura, the Japanese cherry blossom fabric in the past. And so I also made that one for her as well. And it was her birthday last week. She really loved having another, what she calls springtime table runner to go with her other ones. I also was able to quilt up some of this beautiful butterfly fabric, and it has really a rich texture to it. I put a kind of a complementary fabric on the back, and this one I have just quilted a yard of fabric, and then I am working on a sidekick, which is a pattern by Annie for the side of a chair or the side of a walker. And so this is one that I just love this fabric, and as you can see, I quilted it with a black glide thread. It just makes the quilting really stand out. And then it has the soft and stable in the center. And so I'm currently working on that, and you'll see that in the coming months. And then a bunch of my Quilt Guild friends and I got together, not even got together, we just did it on Facebook, and we saw the Beth quilt from Yellowstone. So if you're not familiar with Yellowstone, Beth snuggles up in this quilt that's a 9-patch with gray offsetting the black and red. And so there's about 6 of us that are making this quilt, and I just used stratas, so black, red, black, and then red, black, red, and made 3 sets of those to get enough blocks to do a 61 by 72 quilt. It is set on point, and then I quilted it with red minky on the back. So this one has used a bunch of scrap fabric for me, and some of the girls are doing it with all scraps, meaning red scraps, yellow scraps, their color choice. Some are using black scraps, some are using different grays. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how our we're calling them Beth quilts, rip quilts, whatever you want to call them, how they're turning out. And everybody's is going to be unique and different. So that one I just quilted this week, and I'm excited to have others get to see it. And then kind of my other finished project, this is my stretch project. You'll see has a ribbing on it. So I used a black elastic wide, it's about 2.5 inch wide ribbing. And then it is on this beautiful star quilt skirt. So I don't know if you can see the entire thing, but one of my instructors sent me a picture, and she's like, I want a star quilt ribbon skirt. So I made these star quilt pieces. All of those are blocks in the traditional star quilt block pattern, and I had to make 6 by 4, so 24 blocks to get to where I was going. All of them have the start of this yellow, orange, kind of a reddish orange, and then turquoise, and then the black is the center of the block. So these are in the traditional 2.5 inch size, which works really well for when you're making a traditional star quilt. The 2.5 inch size makes that baby quilt size. What I didn't realize when I was doing that was 2.5 is only going to get me to about 20 inches wide, and most women are not 20 inches wide. And so I had to make it a little bit wider. I had to get it to where it would work with the size that I had. And so I had to add in a whole extra ribbon or a whole extra set of star points to get it to the size that I wanted and to keep the pattern. And that made it a little too big. So if I was to do it again, I think I would start with 3.5 inch strips instead of 2.5 inch strips, and that would get it just about to the size that I wanted it. It is fully lined. It's quilted with a straight line quilting down this each section, each row, so that it's not distracting from the actual skirt. So she's excited for it. I haven't had her try it on yet, but I did hand sew the bottom seam, and I left about 1.5 inches in the seam so that if she needed it longer, we'd have at least 1 inch, 1.25 inches to play with to get it a little bit longer from doing that. So that was really my stretch project. I've been working on that since October. She just received her dissertation defense 2 weeks ago. And so now she's going to graduate and she's going to wear it for graduation. So that's really exciting for me, is to have finished that truly unique project, something that I really stretched me. And I'm excited that I did that. Not much for haul this week. I picked up a couple of needles, nothing real specific. I had heard about some bohine needles online, and I went to find them at our local quilt shop, and they didn't have them. And then I went into my English paper piecing supplies, and I realized that I already had a set of them. I tried them. They weren't my favorite, so obviously not my favorite needles. But I was able to pick up some new Richard and Hemmingson needles, and those are kind of my Milner favorite ones for hand sewing. And so I was able to get a few packages of those, but nothing like a lot of new haul. The one thing that's probably new for me is that I have some new patterns that I bought. I got the Redwood Tote, and that one I'm really excited to try. It is, to me, kind of a bigger purse, bigger, bag, kind of between a bag and a purse. So I have this one cut out, and I'm going to work on it this weekend. So I'm really excited about that. It's one of those that I didn't think I needed, but then I saw several people with pictures from QuiltCon that had it, and I was like, I have to make this one. I also purchased the Runaround Bag, and I'm having my daughter make this one. We're gonna try with our 4-H kids, see if they can't make it. But she tried it first, and you'll see on my Instagram post that she got it made. It is a little bit more difficult for kids who haven't sewn. So if your kids haven't sewn, I would recommend trying something else first. But for my daughter, this was a good pattern for her. It's one of my favorite lazy girl patterns. And then the other one that I purchased was the Clover and Violet Rosa case. I saw this online. A couple of friends had made it, and I had to have it. So this is another one that I'm excited to try. As I finish a few other projects, I'll get it cut out. Again, the triple zip pattern is the tutorial that I have been using for those triple zip pouches. And then this was the other one that I was like, I have to have it. So the EPPic Case pattern is for an EPP project, and I am starting the Queen of Diamonds EPP this summer. So this is meant to be my carrying case for that project. So I started cutting it out, and I'm excited to make this one as well. So those are a couple of the projects that I've been working on. Things that I've been doing. I have a wolf quilt that I'm making currently, and I'm also working on a gnome quilt. And those, as I get a little further down the projects and where I actually have something to show, I will be sure to show those to you because they are pretty cool quilts. The quilt in the background today is the one that I keep up in February-March timeframe, and it's a heart quilt that was a signature quilt when my mom passed away. And so it has signatures of people from my hometown, my online friends, family, people who supported my mom in her breast cancer and brain cancer survivor journey, and then in her passing. And so this one is hanging on the wall at my office because it really showcases all of those friends and family that have supported us throughout the years. So I love keeping it up. Other things that are happening, my daughter started track, so that's been an exciting adventure for her. She is learning what it's like to be part of a team and to manage her time really well, so those are exciting things for her. We are helping my son to kind of understand that you have to wear a coat. It is still winter in South Dakota. It was 60 degrees yesterday and it's about 20 degrees today. So still learning that, still working on that. He is excited to be in his strings concert this weekend. So he is doing violin, and he'll have practice early Saturday morning and then a concert Saturday afternoon. Michaela had her band concert, which was very similar. It's all of the bands from the middle schools throughout the Rapid City area. They had their band concert on Saturday, this past Saturday, and the kids shot BB gun in their county shoot. So they did their 4-H county shoot on Saturday, and then they did their shooting for state tournament on Saturday night in match 2, or on Monday night in match 2, and Matthew made it to state. So that's really exciting that they've made some improvements and that they are getting real close to those state shoot numbers. And so Michaela will have one more shot to try in March again. So active, keeping busy, all those things going on. I always say if I can get a little more time to quilt or a little more time to sew, I would really enjoy that. However, sometimes I have to take what I can get. A couple weeks ago, Tammy from the Sewing Center had us come and have a all-day sewing day on a Sunday, and it was just what my heart needed. I needed to be with people who love to sew, catch up on people's lives, get to see my friends. A lot of the ladies who sew with us at the Sewing Center, we've worked together for years, and it's just a fun time getting to spend time sewing. We worked on projects for the store, and it was fast, it was furious, but it was so much fun, and I really enjoyed that. So those are some of the things that are happening in my life, in my world, as we start getting into the end of March, beginning of April into May. It will be very, very busy time. We'll have our Jackrabbit reception where we welcome our new fall students. We'll do interviews for our counseling program, and then we'll also have our hooding ceremony for our counseling graduates. So a lot of things happening in the next few months, and I am continuing and excited to be going down this journey and working on these exciting quilts. And having something to show you all. So thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll get back on track with my at least once a month updates. It just seemed like February flew by and I didn't have much to show, but thanks for sticking with me and coming back to watch Moneik Quilts Quilttube number 13. Thank you so much.